Okay, so welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a recap of Insatiable Season 1, Episode 6, Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, so Patty and Brick are in the backseat of his car. They are making out. Things are about to get all hot and heavy. Patty wants to go all the way, but Brick, puts the kibosh on that. I guess he doesn't want his relationship with Patty to be the same as it was with Magnolia, where it was more physical than anything else. And so he knows this is her first time. He's like, I want to make it special for you. And so he kind of stopped them from going further. She received a text. The first text was from Magnolia. She's like, oh, she's been texting me a lot. I don't know what's going on. And she's texting me, asking me if I know if you're seeing someone. Because remember, the last episode she saw in the Bikini and Bitches episode, she saw them kissing at the Bikini Dog Wash fundraiser. So she's been trying to avoid Magnolia, and then Bob Armstrong, Brick's dad, sent her a text about them having to meet up to discuss the final leg of whatever they need to do for the Miss Magic Jesus pageant. And so Patty's back at home with her mom. Bob is there, and they find out that she was never baptized. Now, in order for her to participate in this pageant, she has to have been baptized, or she has to be baptized. And so now Bob has to kind of schmooze with Pastor Mike to see if he would baptize Patty in time so she could participate in the pageant. And because Pastor Mike is the officiant, I guess, he's saying that she can't participate in the pageant if she's not baptized. She can't participate for Miss Magic Jesus. What's the name of the daggone thing? But she can't participate if she's not baptized. And so he's basically like, I need to meet with her. She has to have God. It's a whole thing, she has to have godparents. And she was like, oh, what about one? And Pastor Mike was okay. So he put himself in line to be her godfather. And so basically he's like, I have to meet, it has to be counseling, and I have to meet with you guys, and I'll see, basically what's what. So I don't know if it's the next day, they're at church, or no, they're at the church for, I guess, whatever they need to do for the pageant. And Patty is standing there, and next thing you know, she hears, move out of the way, Fatty, and it's Dixie. And she turns, Patty whips around and basically called her a munchkin, because I think Dixie might be 5 feet, 5'3", something like that. And so it was a plus size pageant contestant, dark African American, who turned, and she basically let Dixie have it. And Patty was like, I think I'm gonna like you. And so Magnolia walks up to Patty, and she's asking her, about Brick, and she basically says, oh, she doesn't know if he's seeing anyone. And basically, Patty in the church basically calls her a lying bitch. Like, I've given you a chance to tell me the truth, but you've been lying to me. I saw you guys kissing. And basically, it's on. Like, not only am I not going to drop out, I am going to win every pageant going forward. So she basically put Patty on notice. And so Patty they all did the meeting. I guess meeting is about to start. They get sit in the pews, and Patty is sitting next to the plus size African American model. I don't know if they ever said her name. I don't think they did. And she made a comment. She asked Patty, like, what does she mean about? There was a comment about her weight, and she was like, Patty was like, oh, I used to be fat. I used to be fat and ugly or something. And the model basically read her like, if you're ugly, it doesn't matter what size you are. If you're ugly on the inside, you're ugly on the outside. And so the next scene is Patty and Bob. They're meeting with the pastor, and he's trying to talk to her to find out, what's going on with her, and basically why she was never baptized. And talking to her, he got the feeling that, Patty was extremely selfish. And she is very selfish, self-involved, and narcissistic. And she made a comment about Bob, and Bob was just like, why are you telling him? And so he starts asking Bob, and he finds out, the pastor finds out that Bob's relationship with his son isn't the best. And he was like, how are you going to be a good godfather to her if you're not even a good parent to your own child? So that's something that you need to work on. And he was talking to Patty. You need to work on being less selfish and consider other people. And so, work on those things and come back in a couple of days and we'll sit down and we'll talk about going through the ceremony as far as getting you baptized. And so, they go in their way. And so now you have, so Nomi and Patty, they're at school and she's trying to find out, she's trying to, in her not unselfish way, thinks that, okay, because I stole Brick from Magnolia, which technically she did because they did break up, but they were kind of, I guess, it looks like they were establishing a friendship. So she was like, okay, me not being selfish, what I'm going to do is, because I'm with Patty, I'm going to set her up with Christian. Now, Christian, obviously, if you remember the last episode or a couple episodes ago, he was a drug dealer that was a dealer that sold Magnolia her drugs. And so she figures if she sets Magnolia up with Christian, that she won't be mad at her anymore. Okay. And so she goes over to talk to Christian about asking Magnolia out. And Christian, basically, he's into Patty. And so he kind of did this whole thing about, I know that you're attracted to me. And he got all close to her and was, spitting his little game. And she was getting all hot up under the collar and whatever. And then he just abruptly stopped and was like, hey, but if you want me to ask her out, I will. And so he went over to Magnolia and basically was like, that told him what the deal was. And so they basically devised a scheme to break Patty and Brick up because Magnolia wants Brick back and Christian wants Patty. And so they decide that they're going to play this little game to make them jealous. And hopefully they'll be so jealous that they'll leave each other and run to them. Okay, whatever. And so now Brick and Patty, I wonder if, I'm trying to remember if this is when he made plans for her to come over. Oh, I think he said his father's going to be out doing take care of some kind of business, and then that would be the time for her to come over for them to hook up because he's going to I guess set the mood and make it special for her. Okay, so Brick and Bob, he's at home and he's in there changing his sheets, make sure he got fresh linen. Okay, kudos to you for that. But then we got this whole lackadaisical attitude to teen sex in this show has just been mind-blowing. So Bob, walks into the room and he's trying to do what the pastor said as far as trying to work on having a relationship with his son. He's like, oh, okay, so changing sheets. What? Oh, do you have a sex date? And it was just so nonchalant. Like, I don't know any parents like that, but okay. And he's like, is it anybody that I know? And Brick was like, I'm not having this conversation with you. He's like, is it another teacher from the school? And he just looked at him like, okay, why did you have to go there? And he was like, he said, well, he said, I'm still trying to figure out why you would go to my enemy and indulge in a relationship with the woman that accused me of molesting her daughter. And he said, was that a cry for help, or were you just that angry at me that you were trying to get back at me? And at the time, Brick was like, why does everything have to be about you? And so he tried to, Bob continued to try to have a conversation with him, but he just was not trying to hear it. And he basically kicked him out of the room. And so Bob, in an effort, because Brick on his way out was like, okay, do you even know that I have a wrestling match tomorrow? And so Bob, in an effort to get closer to Brick, he went to see the wrestling coach. And he was like, oh, because at this point, this wrestling coach has never seen Bob. They didn't even know him. Because he's never been to one of his son's matches. And so he said, I want you to try to educate me on this whole wrestling thing. And who walks in? Bob Barnard. He's the, what do they call him? Booster, something, I forget. He's that guy. And he actually was on the wrestling team in school. He was like All-State. He, Mr. Perfect again. And so somehow they were able to talk Bob Barnhart to Bob Armstrong into putting on. He kept calling it a leotard. I think they called it a singlet, the whole wrestling spandex thingy. And of course, he got his ass whooped. But, you know, they talking trash to each other. He's talking to him about Cora Lee, and of course, we're just getting him upset. And Bob Armstrong is talking to him about Magnolia and her drug problem. And so, in the end, Bob Armstrong ends up losing. But I guess he learned what he needed to learn in order to basically go to the match and encourage his son during his match the following day. So Patty, you know, shows up at the house, and they are about to get down with the get down. But now Patty is confused. She's kind of torn because she now wants, all she can think about is Christian. And so, you know, before things go, before they actually get to it, there's a knock at the door. It's Bob. And Brick is like, I thought you were out taking care of something. He was like, oh, I need to talk to you. He's like, can I come in? He was like, no, you can't come in. He said, so basically Bob was like, I'm going to come in 5 seconds. So now they have to, you know, kind of move to get their clothes back on, get all buttoned up. Because at this point, he doesn't even know that Brick and Patty are even dating. So he goes and he sees Patty, and he's like, oh, hey, Patty, what's up? Initially, then he was like, wait a minute. She was your sex date? And he was like, is this to get back at me, or are you that angry at me or something? So now Patty is feeling like she's a pawn, whatever kind of situation they have going on, and that Brick is only with her to annoy his father. So she packs up and she leaves, and they stay to continue their conversation. And next you know, Patty, she calls her mom to pick her up, and her mom is on her way to her AA meeting. So who's standing outside the church smoking? Christian, because they find out during their meeting with the pastor that Christian is his son. So he's standing outside smoking, and Patty's talking to her mom about how she's with Brick, how she took Brick from Magnolia, and she said Magnolia of a Christian, but now she wants Christian, and their mom was like, okay, I thought basically if you're trying to work on your selfishness and your self-indulgent personality issues there, you're failing at it. And basically she basically her mom like, who are you to judge me? And basically I'm done talking to you. She gets out the car to go, and she goes over to Christian and saying, do you want to go somewhere? Just, I guess, to hang out or whatever. So they end up leaving. So at this point, Choi and Nomi, earlier that day, they had made plans. He said that there's a coffee shop that he likes to go to hang out. And so they go to the coffee shop, and who's up there singing? It's actually the plus size model who's supposed to be in the pageant. And she sung her little song, and she got off stage, and he was trying to encourage her, because remember when she was supposed to participate in the mother-daughter thing, one of her talent was singing. And so he tried to encourage her to go up to sing. And, you know, they're just talking, and Choi, you know, they've had some encounters, and Choi kind of is developing feelings for Nomi. But their last conversation was, because he was just basically tired every time that he talks to her, their conversation is all about Patty. What's going on with Patty? What Patty did? What Patty said? He basically told her, once you figure out your situation with Patty, then let me know. And so now he's revisiting this, like, so, well, you know, what's going on? And she basically said that she doesn't think that she's gay. And the reason she doesn't think that she's gay is because she doesn't have sexual feelings towards women in general. Her feelings are very Patty specific. And she, you know, she's been in love with her since Patty was plus size. And he basically kind of sat there, and she, you know, apologized. He's like, well, no, he wasn't, you know, didn't feel any way about it. But I think her saying it out loud was really, she got extremely very emotional, and then she went to the bathroom. And the plus size model was in there, and she basically asked her what was going on. And she told her that she thinks that she's in love with her friend. And the model was like, well, how do you know if she feels the same way about you? And Nomi was like, well, how do you know it's a she? And basically, she was trying to encourage her, tell her how you feel. And so the plus size model actually took Nomi's phone to put her number in and was like, you know, if you ever want to talk, you can hit me up. So it's like, okay, I'm like, first of all, it's like these interactions with these adults and these teenagers. Well, I don't know how old. I haven't seen the plus size model hanging around the school, filmed at the school. So I'm assuming she's out of school. And of course, we know Nomi is still a high school student. So that whole situation, I'm just like, oh Lord, jeez. Okay, whatever. And so Patty and Christian, they're, you know, riding in his car, just talking. And he starts talking about Magnolia and, you know, about how hot she is, and basically talking about the differences between the two. Like, he thinks that Magnolia is very, I don't know, vanilla. He just doesn't, you know, he sees something different in Patty. He sees Patty as more, you know, on the edge, more dangerous. It's something about Patty that's drawing him to Patty. And while, you know, before things got a little carried away, because he actually pulled the car over, and she was basically saying that she hates everybody, that everything that she does is about revenge, that she hates everybody for the way they treated her, and she basically wants to show everybody how much of a loser they are, and she wants to be seen as the winner. And this is whole narcissistic mess that she got going on in her mind. And so he's like, I knew there was something about you. You're angry. You have a lot of anger. And so I guess he was about to lean in to kiss her, and then she gets a text, it's Brick. And so she was basically like, well, you know, it's my boyfriend, so I have to go. So she's like, I'll just call an Uber or Lyft something. So she got to end up getting out the car. And so now you face to Bob. He's at Brick's wrestling match. So he's trying to, you know, he's out there trying to encourage him, and it was all good. Patty shows up. Christian and Magnolia is there as well, and he's trying to talk to Patty for a minute, but he was like, you know what, I don't want him to see us together because I don't want him to feel like I'm not paying attention to him. So he basically left Patty where she was, and he went further up so that he can, you know, focus on Brick in this match. And so she's kind of looking back, and then she sees Christian and Magnolia kind of making out in some attempt to make her jealous. And Nomi walks up to her, and Nomi was like, the most interesting thing, a terrifying thing happened to me today. And then here she goes with her selfishness. She starts in with, you know, it's been a crazy day for me too, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And finally Nomi was like, you know what, I'm just sick. I am sick of this. I'm trying to talk to you about something that's going on with me, and you have to make it about you. And so she walks off, and she ends up catching up with Nomi in the stairwell. I was like, what is going on? She was like, I was trying to tell you that this woman gave me her number. Basically, she's been having, you know, these questions about her sexuality, and she ends up kissing Patty. And Patty didn't pull away. She didn't, you know, she didn't jump. I mean, she didn't have any a reaction that you would think she would have given the situation. But she basically calmly told her that, you know, Nomi, I love you. You're the most important person in the world to me, but I don't feel that way about you. And so Nomi was like, oh my God. Because, you know, like the drag queen said in the previous episode, once you can't unring a bell. Once you put something out there, it's out there. And so now she's like, oh my God, things are going to be different between us. And Patty was like, no, it's not. You know, it's okay. I'm okay with that. You know, I don't feel any kind of way. I again. And so that just set Nomi off, and she ends up leaving. So you flash back to the match, and Bob is out there. He was calling out some match, some move. I don't know if it distracted Brick. Brick ended up losing and ended up getting hurt. So them having to carry him off the field, he's obviously mad as dad. Like, I can't believe that you did that. This was one of the most important matches of the season. And so now Bob is mad. So Brick is mad at Bob. And so now he's outside, and he's basically on the verge of tears. He's like, I was just trying to help. This is like, no matter what I do, I make things worse between us, talking to Patty. And I just don't know what I'm going to do. And so, you know, they're back at the church with the pastor, and he agreed to go ahead and baptize her. So baptized both of them. And so he walks away. Because they have to go and get ready for the ceremony anyway. And Patty's mom walks up to him because he had met with her too. Because she was like, she couldn't figure out what was going on, why she kept making the decisions that she was making. Because she was at her AA meeting and she ends up sleeping with her sponsor in the bathroom. So he was like, you need to. So his advice he gave her was the complete opposite of Patty. She was basically like, you need to find out where all of this is coming from. You really need to be more introspective and look at where things, where this behavior started, where it's coming from. And she was like, and who you really are. And she was like, you know what, to tell you the truth, I don't even know anymore. But then she remembered she had some old journals. And she went in to look at the journals, and she hears now, fast forward, she's at the service, and she pulls out a piece of paper, and it's like from back to front a list of names of the guys she had sex with since she was 18 or something, I don't know. And the pastor was like, oh, okay. He said, well, you know, this is going to be a conversation for another day, but today it's about Patty. And she was like, yeah, it's about Patty. So they go in. Before they go in, Magnolia walks up like everything is all good, and I knew it wasn't. And she gives Brick and Patty a cup of, I don't know if that was apple juice or what it was, but she's like, just, you know, she's basically laying on thick, like her and Christian, everything is all good between them, and she really likes him, and basically thanking her for setting him up, and it's all good. And so they're over there drinking the tea, like, drinking that apple juice, whatever, ginger ale, like it was all good, like, oh, well, that was amazing. And so, of course, she goes back over to Dixie, and Dixie's like, I can't believe that you're being so nice to them. She was like, well, I'm really not. I put liquid LSD in the daggone drink. So Patty, Lord, so Patty is up there. They're in the little tub about to get baptized, and they dip Bob first, and then they dip Patty, and she starts hallucinating. I don't know what the world was going on with her, and she jumps up. I don't know if they told her she was supposed to wear something under her gown, under that little thing they give you, but she bopped up, and she had on like some red. You can see her red bra and underwear. It was a mess. So of course the people in the church were like, girl. But she got baptized, and so afterwards, Brick ends up sending her a text message telling her that what really happened, why he really likes her, and because she's, you know, all the traits that she's nice and kind, she's easy to talk to, and that it's not about him getting back with his father, getting back at his father. And so something happened to her when she came out of there, so she ends up breaking up with Brick and running off with Christian. And so Bob and Rick finally has a heart-to-heart, and Brick finally admits that he only got with Regina to get back at his dad for all the neglect, him ignoring him, and just not being all that involved in his life. So he admitted that. And so basically going forward, they're going to work on their relationship. And so the next thing you see is Christian and Patty. He took Patty somewhere, and they're sitting up like she's really trying to have sex. He's like, no, because I don't have a condom, and we don't want them problems. So, but he said, we can do other things. And so she was like, what are you talking about? So he ends up going down and doing the do. But then the next thing you see far off, they're actually being recorded. So I'm assuming in the next episode, we're going to see who was actually recording them. But that's how this episode ended. It wasn't, I mean, there were some things in there that were funny and interesting. But, you know, all in all, it was an okay episode. So I'm going to end this here, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode.